Let's go ahead and get rolling, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the Texas City Council to conduct a workshop on February 16th, 2023. First item is for public comment, and we have Mr. Brett King to speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brett King. I'm with Ray Ventures Group in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was the face on the screen 2 weeks ago. So I really just wanted to come in and tell you that I am real. I'm not just an AI face on a television screen. And thank you for your time and consideration to hear my presentation. But secondly, I wanted to update you that I was unable to hold the community meeting that I had planned 2 weeks ago due to weather. We did hold it last night. I sent out over 1,100 postcards to surrounding residents and businesses. We didn't have a robust turnout, but 12 or 13 very engaged and inquisitive neighbors showed up and asked me a lot of questions. And I think I can say with confidence they all left in full support of the housing efforts that I'm making here in Temple. So just wanted to let y'all know that that meeting did happen, and I think it was received very, very positive. And Councilmember Long was there too, as well as Nancy Glover were there to attest to the reception and the attendance.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Tim, I'll just interject, thanking Nancy and Mr. King. The reason we had this meeting was because I had such a fit that it might be a bad place, and thank you so much for doing it. It's a great place. It was a very positive meeting. People were really positive. More than one person wanted to sign up on the waiting list last night. And I got 2 calls today from the same person wanting to sign up on the waiting list. So, you know who I'm talking about from last night.
You're 1% occupied.
It's a good start.
So it was very, very, very positive meeting. And I just feel very comfortable about it. And thank you, Mr. King. Thank you, Pete, for your work with Mr. King. Dr. Ott is I don't want to say he's in favor, but it's no impact on the school system, which is good. I stress that this is not Section 8 housing, and very comfortable with Mr. King's presentation 2 weeks ago and last night about the longevity of the housing, the ownership, and the type of maintenance, etc.
Okay, good.
That's item H on the consent agenda, folks.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right. The next item is to discuss as maybe needing any regular meeting agenda items. Council or staff, do you have anything that you'd like to cover in particular? Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, I would like to make a quick comment on agenda item B on the consent agenda. And just point out that we are set to receive a $5 million grant through the EPA, and that Congressman Carter and his staff worked very closely with us to help us secure this funding. And I want to publicly acknowledge and appreciate their efforts. This will go a long way towards assisting us with our ongoing efforts to reduce sanitary sewer overflows in our community. And I believe I say correctly that last year we had 0 weather-related sanitary sewer overflows in our community. And when I became city manager a little over 5 years ago, we were routinely having over 300 overflow events annually. So Kenton, Don have done, and their teams have done an exceptional job with that priority. And again, this grant funding will help us just continue those efforts. And so appreciation to our staff team, as well as Congressman Carter and their staff for helping us get that funding.
Very good. Would you like to make those comments in the public session?
Can we do some kind of a, this is so important to the city, so important. Can we do some kind of a proclamation, or maybe not that formal, but something?
Whereas we have.
I do think something, but
Congressman Carter.
oh,
Oh,
No, Tim.
and this is the second year that that Congress members have been able to support what's called community project funding. And the first year, Congressman Carter successfully was able to obtain $5 million towards the Veterans Memorial Boulevard improvement and $5 million towards the Outer Loop project for a total of $10 million. And then this year receiving this $5 million grant. And in fact, we had another meeting today with his team talking about more important projects that they're very excited to support for us. So they have been great partners in this,
That's
and
wonderful.
I think we've been more successful than most communities, and it's largely, I mean, we try to be responsive to them, but it's largely the hard work that they've done to get us well positioned to receive these funds. So I think that would be entirely appropriate.
And we wonderful, and we're gonna do the same with them on the extension of the Georgetown Trail across the creek, whatever, water.
Yeah, that is that was a funding that we received through the state, through K-Tempo.
Oh, I thought we hadn't gotten it yet.
We have we've secured funding for phase 1.
Right, but phase 2, the crosses will be Carter's. Oh, no, I guess it won't be. I guess it'd be Representative Shine's support.
Resubmitting after
Yeah,
K-Tempo,
okay,
yes, ma'am.
sorry.
Which I happen to know the vice chair.
Of,
K-Tempo.
oh, you know the chair too, and the previous chair. Then no, Tim, we don't want to do a proclamation that we're sanitary.
no, sir.
Right, we don't want that
Can I get a
proclamation.
one?
Well, I've said all along, we first put together our strategic plan, and that was an item on the list, which is not as exciting to talk about as, our Love Where You Live program and other really exciting initiatives, but it is such a critical
Oh, yes.
program, something that I am just ecstatic the progress we've made. Actually, David and I were in a meeting yesterday on a different topic, and just to continue bragging on Kenton and Don and their team. The other priority you guys might have, now we're getting way off the agenda, so I'll keep it brief and then get back on topic. The other big priority for Public Works when we started our 2020 strategic plan was reducing the amount of time that non-emergency water leaks that took to repair non-emergency water leaks, and Kenton and his team have gotten that down, from what was taking over a month to I think there's routinely less than, I think we can count on our fingers how many active leaks there usually are at any given time, and they're just getting on those and addressing those so quickly. So such a difference has been made in the last few years on those important initiatives. And those are things that we don't always, those are the things underground that we don't always think about until they go wrong. And thankfully, we're not having to think about them as much because they're not going wrong.
But they're part of what make Love Where You Live.
They are.
They really
They're
are.
a big part of that.
It's also the basics, right? That's the basics you should be able to, you hope to be able to take care of to move on to bigger things. So
Absolutely.
that's great. Good job, Ken. Don.
All on that side, sir.
Okay, anything else on the agenda for discussion? Nothing?
Are we gonna pull that one or just? comment before?
In my notes, I said we'd pull it for just for commenting purpose.
I'm also, Mayor, happy to just make the comments before you consider a motion on the consent agenda. If that would be easier, whatever you feel like would be most appropriate.
Well, that's a big decision. How about you just
Why you
make the
make the
comments
effort.
and we'll pull.
I think that Jana would probably appreciate that.
Okay. Just one less chance for. Okay, moving on to the second item is to receive a presentation regarding the first quarter financials from Ms. Bernard.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I am pleased to present the first quarter financial statements for the period ending 12/31/2022. We're 25% into the year as far as time lapse. Looking at the general fund, revenues actual are at 37. What's that red light? Is that red
That
light?
means it's an emergency.
Yeah, emergency lights, it's working.
Oh, okay.
It means they're spying on us.
Okay, sorry.
Remind me of Preston. He's very focused on red lights.
Well,
In a bad way.
General fund revenues are at 37.1 million with a budget of 103.5 million, which is 35.83% of budget. And again, we're only at 25%. We're complete. That's partially due to we collect a lot of our property taxes in the beginning of the year. Water and sewer fund, we're at 23.48% of budget. Hotel motel, we're at 33.23%. And the drainage fund, we are at 25.35% of budget. Just looking at the water and sewer fund, again, our higher consumption months are in the summer when people are watering a lot more, and the hotel motel fund being greater than the 25%. Our hotel motel receipts are exceeding budget and higher occupancy in the hotel motels.
How seasonal is that, would you say? Well, I'll put you on the spot big time, but I mean, Christmas season seems like you would maybe get more.
You get in Temple, I have to study it more. I've looked, Nancy used to know that well.
I think winters are pretty slow.
And then in the summer months, more traveling.
Sure. So it's 33% a quarter of the way through the year. That's good.
Yeah.
Our historic hotel occupancy has been more tied to corporate and hospital, and weekday than it has been from more traditional tourism.
Of course, construction around town.
Right. I would probably attribute a lot of it to that. I had I guess like 2 weeks ago, an investor had come into the area and coming by to visit to talk about future bond sales, et cetera. And it was on a Tuesday night, and he goes, "Well, what's going on in Temple? I couldn't find a hotel room. It was hard finding one on a Tuesday night."
The ice storm and the power outages.
Really?
Uh,
I didn't mind it. It was a week after that, though, actually.
You know, there were still power outages.
Okay.
And people I know were still in hotels then because they
Okay.
didn't have power.
Probably brought in crews from out of state to deal with putting poles back up.
Yeah.
Revenue highlights, looking at our sales tax, which is our largest revenue source of the general fund. And this is looking at 1 month, actually 4 months, not 3 months into the year. Temple is on the far left. We're showing a little over 15% increase compared to the same 4 months last year. You look to the far right, Coppers Cove, and then statewide cities are about 7%. Again, that bodes well for Temple's local economy booming. Additional revenue highlight, property tax collections. Again, they're levied in October, but become delinquent on February 1. And as of December 31, we had collected 77.39% of our current levy, which is in line with what we've done in previous years. Expenditures, general fund is at 24.55%. Water sewer fund at 24.85%. Hotel motel at 26.01%. And drainage at 44.2%. And hotel motel and drainage fund, their reason they're greater than the 25% is it's related to capital, not personnel and operations. Investments, our portfolio was at a little over $394 million. And currently, we have 83.91% of that in government pools, 8.9% in cash, 5.17% in CDs, and now with interest rates going up, we're going to start investing again in US Treasury and agency and ladder our portfolio. Looking at interest rates, as we all know, they've, since the beginning of the FY, they have increased considerably. And since 12/31, they've increased another 25 basis points. A year ago, our portfolio was earning 0.54%. As of 12/31, it's 3.88%. This is again just looking at key rates. Our benchmark is a 90-day T-bill, and currently with the rising interest rates, we are slightly below what our benchmark is, but we will catch up to that. Capital improvement program. Pretty amazing here too. We finally reached over $500 million in capital projects. Pretty amazing. And as you look to the right, you see the reinvestment zone as far as funding source dollars, the reinvestment zone funding nearly 34% of those. Utility revenue bonds, things that are underground, 29.54%. And then our TCIP is about 27.41%. But again, lots of projects, lots of investment in our community. Status based on those CIP projects, based on the status based on dollars, 46% of them are under construction or in progress. Another 38% are in the planning or engineering phase. And then just 3 months into the year, 1.84% of them are considered complete. Strategic investment zone program status. Total allocated year to date is little over $2.1 million. Expended to date, 1.9. That's since the inception of the program. And we have remaining available funds of $250,723. And at last council meeting, we did have a budget amendment where we swept $300,000 that had been allocated to the CIS projects back to fund balance.
These are in processes projects.
So that concludes my presentation for the first quarter. Happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions? That sales tax revenue is just amazing.
It is.
What
This
is
fast
doing the
growth.
sales tax? Why are we so much higher than some of the surrounding communities?
We have a construction going on in our community,
Oh, and that's.
commercial and residential.
Yes, yes, yes.
People eat it out a lot too.
Right. And then go to Buc-ee's any day of the week too and see it.
So you know when you know.
You're right.
Yeah.
Inflation makes a difference.
Yes, that
Prices
is.
are higher. 8% of more is more.
But the inflation is true in the surrounding communities.
True.
You're so much lower.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that's the perplexing thing.
But the total dollar volume, and that's what I was thinking of with that, just, prices going up and 8.25%. So, I should know this, of the 8.25%, what's the city share?
1.5%,
Okay,
1.50%.
okay, I thought it was around 2. Okay. All right, good. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Tracy. All right, so that's it for the regular workshop agenda. At this time, the council will enter into executive session. It is currently 4:20, and pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, the city council will meet in executive session to receive legal advice from the city attorney regarding matters covered by attorney-client privilege and to receive advice regarding pending or contemplated litigation. No final action will be taken.